When people ask me, Jack, how do I become rich in 2026? I always smile because the answer is not what they want to hear. Most people still believe that if they work harder, stay longer in the office, drink more coffee, and sleep less, one day success will knock on their door. But the new economy does not reward sweat, it rewards adaptation. In the world we are entering, the hardest worker is no longer the winner. The smartest adapter is. And that is the part nobody told you in school. When I was young, I was never the smartest student. Not even close. I failed exams. I failed interviews. Even when KFC came to my city, 24 people applied, 23 were hired, and I was the only one rejected. But what people don't understand is that these failures forced me to see differently. I could not win by talent, so I learned to win by adaptation. I learned faster than the pain could stop me. That is why I tell you today, in 2026, wealth will belong to those who can change direction faster than others even notice the when. The world is shifting in every direction: technology, habits, markets, attention. The old school hustle, the work harder than everyone else mindset is becoming outdated. This economy does not pay you for hours. It pays you for skills. Real skills. The kind that match where the world is heading, not where your parents told you it was heading. Every year I meet young people who say, Jack, I am working so hard, but nothing changes. And I say, because you are fighting yesterday's war with yesterday's weapons. If you want to be rich in 2026, you must develop the skills that allow you to ride the waves instead of being crushed by them. Adaptation is the new ambition. The world only remembers doers, not complainers. And in this new world, the winners will be the ones who learn, adjust, upgrade, and do it faster than everyone else. Skill first. Pattern recognition people think the future is unpredictable, but that is not true. The future is always whispering. You just have to train your ears to hear it earlier than others. When I look back at my journey, I realize I was never the smartest businessman, but I learned something powerful. Most people only see events, but rich people see patterns. This skill alone can make the difference between staying average and becoming wealthy in 2026. When I first discovered the internet in the 1990s, I didn't even know how to type. I was terrible with computers, but I saw one tiny pattern. People were searching for information online. They were curious. They were hungry. And even though everyone around me laughed, even though nobody believed China would ever go digital, I trusted that pattern. I wasn't predicting the future. I was reading the direction of human behavior. That is all pattern recognition really is. Seeing the movement before others recognize it's a trend. In 2026, this skill becomes even more valuable because the world is shifting faster than ever. Technology evolves in months, not years. Consumers change their habits overnight. AI transforms entire industries in a single update. But if you train your mind to spot the signals, the subtle changes, unusual behavior, the emerging needs, you will always be one step ahead. And one step is all it takes to dominate. Remember, if you can see the future even 1 inch earlier than others, you get paid 10 times more. The biggest tragedy is that most people walk through life with their eyes open, but their minds closed. They wait for opportunity to become obvious, and by that time, it's already too late. But pattern recognition is like a secret language. Once you learn to read it, you realize opportunities were always right in front of you. They were just invisible to the untrained eye. Winners don't predict the future. They prepare for it before others wake up. That skill. Second, digital. Persuasion power. When I started Alibaba, I had no money, no technology, and no connections. The only thing I had was my ability to communicate an idea so clearly, so passionately that people believed in something that didn't even exist yet. And today, that same ability has become one of the most profitable skills in the world. In 2026, attention is currency. If you can persuade, influence, and communicate online, you will never be invisible again. People think wealth comes from intelligence, but that is not true. Wealth follows communication. I watched brilliant people fail because they could not explain their ideas. I watched ordinary people succeed because they knew how to capture attention. The digital world has amplified this reality. If you know how to speak to people through short videos, content, storytelling, or branding, you immediately separate yourself from the 99% who stay silent, fearful, or unclear. Remember, in 2026, the world does not pay for the best idea. It pays for the idea that spreads. I always tell young people that communication is not about fancy words. It is about clarity, honesty, and emotional connection. When you speak online, you are not talking to an audience. You are talking to the emotional core of human beings. The internet rewards those who can make people feel something: trust, hope, urgency, belonging. And if you master this skill, you can sell anything, products, ideas yourself, because the money follows the message. The truth is, most people will avoid this skill because it feels uncomfortable. They fear judgment, criticism, and rejection. But winners step into the discomfort because they understand a simple law: visibility creates opportunity. If people can't see you, they can't trust you. And if they can't trust you, they will never give you their money. Digital persuasion is not optional in 2026. It is survival. Those who master, it will rise. Those who ignore, it will disappear. Skill third, high-speed learning. When people hear about my failures, exams, failed job applications, failed businesses, they often think I survived because I was strong. But that is not true. I survived because I learned faster than the failure could break me. In 2026, this is the richest skill you can develop: the ability to learn at high speed. The world no longer gives you 5 years to adapt. Sometimes it gives you 5 months, sometimes 5 weeks. If you cannot learn fast, you will fall fast. I remember when Alibaba was growing and the internet changed almost every month. New competitors appeared, new trends emerged, new problems came every day. I used to tell my team, we must learn faster than our problems grow. That became our secret weapon. We were not smarter than our competitors. We were simply quicker, quick to test, quick to adjust, quick to let go of old ideas. High-speed learning is not about knowing everything. It's about adapting before others realize the rules have changed. Most people refuse to learn fast because learning requires humility. It requires saying, I was wrong. It requires letting go of pride, comfort, and ego. And that is why those who cling to old habits, old methods, and old knowledge will be crushed in 2026. The world does not reward stubbornness. It rewards flexibility. High-speed learners turn every setback into fuel. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every failure becomes a shortcut. The truth is simple. Slow learners will become the new poor, not because they are bad people, but because the world is evolving too quickly for their pace. But if you train yourself to absorb new skills rapidly, AI, communication, entrepreneurship, leadership, you will always stay one step ahead. High-speed learning is the bridge between where you are and the wealth you want. Winners don't wait for change. They become the first to understand it. Skill fourth, emotional discipline, if there is one. Lesson the world keeps teaching me, it is this: money does not flow to the smartest people, it flows to the calmest. In 2026, emotional discipline will be one of the most profitable skills a person can develop. The world is becoming noisier, more confusing, more unstable. And the people who lose control, who panic, who react emotionally, they will destroy their own chances before the market even touches them. But the people who stay calm in chaos, they find opportunities no one else can see. I learned this the hard way. When Alibaba was still small, we faced situations that would have made most people run away. Investors pulled out. Competitors attacked us. The internet bubble crashed. Every headline told us we were finished. My team looked at me, waiting to see whether I would panic. But I remembered something. If the captain is nervous, the whole ship sinks. So I stayed calm, even when I was terrified inside. That emotional discipline allowed us to make decisions logically instead of emotionally. We survived because we didn't let fear drive the ship. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Emotional discipline pays more than academic intelligence. A person who can stay rational during chaos will make better investments, better business decisions, better career moves. When everyone else is selling their dreams because they are scared, the emotionally disciplined are buying opportunity. When others are crying, they are planning. When others freeze, they take action. That is why during every recession, a small group of people become incredibly wealthy. They do not allow emotion to blind them. 2026 will punish the reactive and reward the stable. If you let your emotions control you, you will chase the wrong opportunity, follow temporary trends, and quit before success arrives. But if you learn to control your mind, you will control your results. Remember the cliche everyone forgets. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And emotional discipline is the strongest form of discipline there is. It is the difference between people who collapse and people who grow richer in the storm. Skill fifth, network engineering. When people ask me how I built Alibaba from nothing, they often think it was because of my ideas or hard work. But that is only half the story. The truth is, wealth in 2026. And even today is created by people who understand networks, not just knowing people, but creating ecosystems where the right people feel safe, inspired, and willing to invest in you. Your network is not who you know, it's who trusts you enough to bet on your vision. That is the secret many ignore. I remember the early days. I had no money, no technology, and almost no credibility. But I started connecting with people who had influence, expertise, and courage. I didn't just meet them, I created relationships where they could see value in supporting me, in trusting me to deliver, even when the odds seemed impossible. This is network engineering. It is deliberate, it is strategic, and it is relentless. Without it, even the best skills or ideas remain trapped in obscurity. The world of 2026 will reward people who can scale relationships beyond themselves. Technology multiplies what you do, but only if your network amplifies your impact. If you surround yourself with winners, collaborators, and thinkers, opportunities compound. If you inherit the wrong network, passive, complacent, fearful, you inherit stagnation. Jack Ma's experience taught me, winners engineer their circle, losers inherit theirs. Choosing who you surround yourself with is not social. It is survival and wealth creation. Most people avoid network engineering because it feels uncomfortable. It requires courage, patience, and authenticity. But those who master it discover that influence is more valuable than money, ideas more valuable than talent, and trust more valuable than credentials. In 2026, skill alone is not enough. The people who can connect, amplify, and co-create will own the future. And that is why network engineering is not just a skill, it is the foundation of all other skills. Everyone knows the story of Thomas Edison and his 1,000 failures before inventing the light bulb. Most people hear it, nod, and then go back to their comfortable lives as if that lesson does not apply to them. But I want you to look deeper. Edison did not succeed because he was lucky or because he was smart in the traditional sense. He succeeded because he treated failure as data, as information to be learned from. He experimented relentlessly, refusing to let disappointment paralyze him. That mindset, turning discomfort into insight, is exactly what the richest people of 2026 will need. I see the same pattern in my own life. I was rejected from KFC. I failed exams. Investors laughed at me. Each no was a lesson in disguise, just like Edison's failures. Every rejection gave me insight into how the world works, who is willing to risk with you, and where the opportunity truly lies. Most people would have given up after 10 failures. Edison had 1,000. The lesson is not persistence alone. The lesson is learning faster than the pain can stop you, adapting faster than the market can punish you, and never letting temporary failure dictate your identity. In 2026, the stakes are higher. Technology, trends, and attention shift almost overnight. The people who succeed will not be those who fear mistakes. They will be the ones who use mistakes as stepping stones. Edison's story becomes more than a cliche. It becomes a blueprint. Treat every failure as a skill multiplier, every setback as a lesson in pattern recognition, communication, or network building. The market rewards people who refuse comfort, who step into discomfort every single day. If you do not learn this lesson, the future will pass you by while others grow rich from the exact challenges you avoid. Remember this, failure is not defeat. It is preparation. It is data. And it is one of the most profitable skills a human being can develop. Edison's light bulb lit the world, but the principle lights the path to wealth in 2026. If you can endure, adapt, and extract wisdom from failure, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop your growth. Those who fear failure will remain average. Those who embrace it will thrive. I have watched the world change faster than most people can blink. In 2026, average will no longer be enough. Most jobs, most tasks, most routines that people rely on are now being automated or done faster by technology. Artificial intelligence, digital platforms, and global connectivity are creating a world where the middle of the skill market is collapsing. If you rely on ordinary skills, you are already falling behind, whether you realize it or not. Jack Ma always warned, competing with machines is foolish. You must do what machines cannot. The truth is harsh, but necessary. Emotional intelligence, creativity, adaptability, persuasion, and network engineering, these are the new gold standards. These are the skills that machines cannot replace. And they are the skills that separate the wealthy from the average. Even mastering one of these uncommon skills can make you rich, because most people will not bother. Most people will stay comfortable, thinking that following the old path will work until they wake up one day and realize the world has moved on without them. The rich of 2026 do not wait for opportunity. They build it with their skill sets. I remember when I first tried to explain e-commerce to people in China, they laughed. They said, Alibaba, selling online, that will never work. But I was not average. I knew that the combination of vision, persistence, and new skills would allow me to build something ordinary people could not. The world only rewards those who push boundaries, who do the uncommon things in the right way. Average skills no longer buy safety, they buy obsolescence. And in 2026, obsolescence is the quietest and most lethal enemy of wealth. So the lesson is clear. Do not settle. Do not believe that being good enough is enough. Average is dead, and the world will reward the exceptional. Train skills that machines cannot replicate, that people cannot ignore, that create value beyond expectation. When you do this, you are no longer competing with the masses. You are stepping into the space where the rich thrive, where opportunity multiplies, and where 2026 will reward the prepared. If you ignore this, the future will pass you by. One of the hardest truths I've learned in life is that the world does not care about excuses. In 2026, this will be even more brutal. The gap between rich and poor will not be measured in money. It will be measured in mindset and skill. Complainers insist that the world is unfair. Winners upgrade themselves until unfairness no longer matters. Jack Ma often reminds people, life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. This is the principle that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. I have seen it over and over. People will tell me, the system is against me, the market is too big, I don't have the resources. And yet, the winners find a way to grow, to learn, to connect, to persuade. They understand that circumstances are just the soil they choose, what they plant, and how they nurture it. Complainers remain passive. They wait for change instead of creating it. Winners become the change themselves. That is why in 2026, it will not be talent alone that matters. It will be the relentless commitment to upgrade your skills, knowledge, and relationships faster than anyone else. The danger of complaining is subtle but deadly. It convinces you that stagnation is okay. It convinces you that watching others succeed while you wait is acceptable. But upgrading your skills is the antidote. Learning faster, communicating smarter, controlling your emotions, building networks, recognizing patterns. These are not optional habits. They are survival tools. Every day you upgrade, you widen the gap between yourself and those who remain stuck. Every day you complain, the gap closes, and your chance for wealth disappears. Remember, the market rewards doers, not talkers. Complaining costs nothing but pays nothing. Upgrading costs effort, discomfort, and patience, but it pays everything. In 2026, winners will not ask for permission. They will not wait for opportunity. They create it, grow it, and monetize it. If you want to be rich, you must decide, will you be the one who complains or the one who upgrades? The answer will define your future. If you have been listening carefully, you will realize something simple but powerful. Wealth is no longer accidental. In 2026, it is predictable for those who understand the formula. It is not about luck. It is not about working harder than everyone else. It is about deliberately stacking the skills that create exponential advantage. Learn fast, adapt fast, connect smart, stay emotionally stable, and persuade online. These 5 skills do not just add value, they multiply it. This is the secret that most people will never understand, because it requires discipline, patience, and humility. I often tell young entrepreneurs that my journey was not about genius, it was about preparation meeting opportunity. Every rejection, every failure, every no I received was training. I learned to read patterns, to persuade others, to adapt quickly, to control my emotions, and to build networks that amplified my impact. Each skill alone helps, but combined, they become unstoppable. That is why I say the rich of 2026 will not be the luckiest, they will be the most skilled. Skills create leverage, and leverage creates wealth faster than luck ever could. Many people are waiting for the right moment, but there is no perfect moment. The moment is always now. If you wait for certainty, you will always be one step behind. But if you intentionally build these skills, even in small, consistent ways, you are setting yourself up for compounding success. Every conversation, every experiment, every emotional choice, every new connection, it all adds up. This is the wealth formula that turns ordinary people into extraordinary winners. Remember this, opportunity does not visit the comfortable. It rewards those who prepare, who learn, who adapt, who persevere, and who act. 2026 will be a year of ruthless change, but it will also be a year of enormous reward for those who master these 5 skills. Wealth is no longer a mystery, it's a skill set. And if you are willing to build it deliberately, the future belongs to you.